during that whole kind of time period, though, there's the steroid thing, then there's the trial, and Vince thinks he might go to jail. Like, what's the reaction like with you guys in the back? Because you would have been, you were WWF champion at the time when he went to trial in the end. Did you guys think he was going to get taken to jail?
I'll be honest, I never did. I thought the whole thing was, I knew it was bullshit. Like, it was all bullshit. Like, there was, the scandal with the ring boys was something that, you know, the average wrestler couldn't know anything about. Like, there was a sex ring set up, and the ring guys, these are the guys that used to set the ring up. And some of them were referees and whatnot, but they were all preyed on. Like, there was predatory people in the wrestling promotion. Not Pat Patterson, or not the guys that you would think, but some of the guys that hired the ring crew guy. I think it was a former wrestler named Terry Garvin, who was sexually molesting all these they were all young boys, about 18, 19 years old. And basically it was like, you can get more work if you do the right things around here. And it got to be like, you know, you had to sleep with these guys, and then these guys that were ring boys, we call them ring boys, but they were getting preyed on left and right, and by this sort of like 3 or 4 guys that were hiring them. And I don't know if you remember that. There was a wrestler named, or sometimes you might see that there was a ring announcer that used to go in the ring and announce the wrestlers, named Mal Phillips, was a black ring announcer. He was always rumored to have been one of those kind of guys that was taking advantage of these young guys. And the only way they get more work is if they did more things all the time. And the ones that didn't comply didn't get work. So, and they were preyed on or even hired because they were young, maybe young gay men that didn't even know they were gay yet, kind of thing. They were very susceptible, and there was quite a number of them. And they were being taken advantage of. But the thing is that I would see these young boys in the bar with the management guys that were the predators. But you don't know what they're doing. I didn't know. You suspect. Like, you think, oh, that poor guy's probably going to get, in trouble. Not in trouble, but taken advantage of tonight. But you don't. I don't know what happens behind. Once they go to get to their rooms, and one guy goes to the other guy's room, or whatever happens between 2 men in a room, I have no idea what happens, and nobody else does either. I always go, who would be in the room to know what happened? Like, you might think something happened. And that was kind of what it was, is the whole case behind Vince was all based on hearsay. Wrestlers going, these guys are taking advantage of raping these ring boys and all this stuff, but nobody knows. I don't know. We joke about it, or kind of mused about it, but it was like, I remember, like, when it actually came to trial, and like when Vince was, starting to fear that he might go to jail for all this stuff. I can remember wrestlers going, like, I can remember Honky Tonk in particular talking about, that he knows that all these things are happening, and he's taking advantage of these gay boys. And I'm going, how do you know? You don't know. You're talking out of your ass. You think stuff like that's happening. Maybe it is happening, but you're not a witness to it. And that's what the whole case was built on rumors and hearsay and stuff. And then when it came down to the trial, I can remember they tried everything to get wrestlers to, now that they're on the stand, put their hand on the Bible and tell us what you saw. It's like nobody saw anything. I could have told them that before the trial. Like, it's all rumor and suspicion. I suspect they were doing this in the room or whatever. Anyway, so that's where that all fell apart. I remember I was a key witness for Vince's defense for WWE at the time. And I used to always draw cartoon drawings on the blackboards in the dressing rooms all the time, which was a regular thing for me. I used to a lot of times draw these big orgies on the blackboard with all the wrestlers, but it was mostly obviously there weren't even hearsay. It was just totally made up stuff. There was like whatever happened. I remember it was like any of the news that's fit to print kind of thing. Like people come up to me the next day and go, I saw so-and-so with a big fat girl last night. Draw that on the blackboard. And so I would. And the wrestlers would laugh. I mean, even the wrestlers that I drew, like Andre used to love my cartoons. They were so fun for everybody. So when I had to testify for Vince, I believe it was the Honky Tonk Man, his depositions and stuff where he quoted me as having drawn stuff on the blackboards about these orgies and stuff like that. And, I remember they asked me about it on the witness stand, and I said, I remember I cut the guy off. I said, if you're basing any of this case on my cartoons on the blackboard, my cartoons are only for a joke. They're not for. There's nothing real about anything in my cartoon. And everybody snapped at me. He goes, just answer the question or something like that. That was kind of the whole meat of it, is they didn't have any real evidence. And I was never too worried about it. But Vince, when I was champion, like, they were actually told me that Vince would keep running wrestling from jail if that happened. Like, if he got sentenced and had to go to jail, because it was apparently the feds wanted Vince really bad. They were after him. They were on the hunt, and they were gonna stop short of to put him in jail. And I think Vince knew that. And it was probably a pretty scary time for him, because I think he thought he might go to jail for just the stories and rumors that everybody had said about those ring boys. Luckily, they did fire all the guys that were involved with all that, and some of the ring boys got settlements and stuff like that, and they end up thinking that all got swept under the rug. But I think it was really happening, and I'm glad that it got corrected.